They mocked her for being too small, until a giant farmer asked for her hand in marriage. Lily Peterson gripped the basket of vegetables tightly as laughter echoed through the central square of Riverdale. At 22 years old and just 4 feet 6 inches tall, she had grown used to the pitying looks and cruel remarks from the vendors at the weekly market. But on that Thursday morning, everything changed when she stumbled in the middle of the square, sending all her vegetables tumbling onto the packed dirt ground. "Look, everyone, the little ant fell," shouted old Joe, owner of the fruit stand nearby. Lily felt her face burn with shame as she knelt to gather the tomatoes and lettuce she had lovingly grown in the small garden behind her house. Tears threatened to spill, but she held them back. She couldn't afford to cry, not when her mother, Mrs. Martha, lay bedridden at home, waiting for the medicine she'd buy with the earnings from today's sales. "Let me help you, Aunt," said Debbie, the butcher's wife, tossing a few coins onto the ground. "Here, maybe this'll cover your rent for the month." The other women laughed loudly. Lily closed her eyes for a moment, took a deep breath and began collecting the coins along with the vegetables. Every penny mattered. Her mother needed 2 doses of medicine a day, and the money barely covered one. "What a shame, Lily," said Mrs. Wilson, the seamstress. "A pretty girl like you, but who'd want to marry someone so tiny? My grandson is 14 and already taller than you." Lily packed everything back into the basket without responding. She was used to it. Since childhood, she'd heard the same comments. In school, the other children called her a dwarf. As she grew older, the young men in town treated her like a child or simply ignored her. Then she felt a shadow fall over her. She looked up and saw a massive man standing just a few feet away. He wore blue denim overalls, a grey shirt underneath, and a straw hat that shaded his bearded face. He must have been at least 6.5 feet tall, with shoulders as broad as a door and muscular arms from hard labor in the fields. She'd never seen him in town before. The man looked at her with a serious, almost angry expression, but it didn't seem directed at her. His brown eyes were fixed on the vendors still laughing and whispering. "Don't you people have anything better to do?" he said in a deep voice that silenced the entire square. Old Joe swallowed hard. "Hey, Benjamin! Didn't know you were in town, boy." "Benjamin Thompson," he introduced himself to Lily, tipping his hat. "And you must be Lily, the one who grows the best tomatoes in the county." Lily's eyes widened. How did he know her name? And how did he know about her tomatoes? Yes, that's me," she stammered, still on the ground, gathering the last of the vegetables. Benjamin crouched down and began helping her, carefully placing each tomato back in the basket as if they were precious jewels. "My cook, Mrs. Johnson, always says your tomatoes are the tastiest she's ever had," he murmured, just loud enough for her to hear. "She's been buying directly from you for months." Lily's heart raced. Mrs. Johnson was a kind woman who always bought large quantities of her vegetables, paying fair prices without haggling. She'd never known who the woman worked for. "There," Benjamin said, standing and offering his hand to help her up. "Your basket's all set." When Lily touched his hand, it felt like a child's hand in an adult's. Benjamin's hands were enormous, calloused, but surprisingly gentle. "Thank you," she whispered. Benjamin placed his hat back on his head and glanced around the square. The vendors had retreated to their stalls, pretending to be busy. "Miss Lily," he said formally, "would you like to partner with me?" "Partner?" "I have a farm 15 kilometers from here. I need someone trustworthy to take care of the main garden. The pay would be triple what you earn here at the market." Lily felt her legs go weak. Triple? That would be enough to buy all her mother's medicine and still have money left to improve their meals. "But I don't know if I can handle the hard work on a farm," she said, lowering her head. Benjamin smiled for the first time, and Lily noticed how his eyes lit up. "Mrs. Lily, hard work is having to deal with ignorant people every day and still keep your manners. You've already proven you can do that very well." Before Lily could respond, he was already walking toward a black pickup truck parked on the other side of the square. "If you change your mind, you can talk to Mrs. Johnson. She knows where to find me." Lily stood frozen in the middle of the square, clutching her basket and feeling her heart race. For the first time in a long while, someone had spoken to her as if she were a normal person. He hadn't looked at her with pity or scorn. He had looked at her as if she had value. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. That afternoon, Lily returned home with her heart still pounding. Her mother was in bed, as usual, but more animated than normal. "Sweetheart, a woman came by today," said Mrs. Martha, trying to sit up in bed. "A certain Mrs. Johnson said she knows you from the market." Lily dropped the basket on the small kitchen table. "What did she want, Mum?" "She brought this." Mrs. Martha pointed to a white envelope on the nightstand. Lily picked up the envelope with trembling hands. Inside was enough money to buy 3 months' worth of medicine. "She said it was an advance," Mrs. Martha continued. "An advance for what, Lily?" Lily sat on the edge of the bed, still clutching the money. "Mom, a job opportunity came up. At a farm. The pay is much better than at the market." "A farm?" Mrs. Martha worried. "Honey, you're so tiny. How will you handle the hard work?" "It's not hard work, Mom. It's taking care of a garden. It's what I do best." "And where is this farm?" 15 kilometers from here, but don't worry, I'll come back every weekend to be with you." Mrs. Martha held her daughter's hand. "Lily, my dear, are you sure this is a good idea, working in a stranger's home?" "Mom, look at this money. With this job, you'll be able to get all the medicine you need. You might even be able to do those tests the doctor ordered." Mrs. Martha's eyes filled with tears. "I just want you to be happy, my girl. You've already done so much for me." "And I'll keep doing it, Mom, but now it'll be different. I won't have to listen to those jokes from the market people anymore." Lily spent the rest of the afternoon thinking about Benjamin's offer. Was it really a good opportunity, or just another situation where she'd be humiliated because of her height? The next morning, very early, she went to the pharmacy to buy her mother's medicine. Mr. Davis, the pharmacist, greeted her with a strange smile. "Hi, Lily. I wanted to let you know your account here is settled." "Settled? How?" "Someone paid all your outstanding bills. 3 months of medicine, all paid for." Lily felt the ground sway beneath her feet. "Who? Who paid?" "The person asked not to reveal their name, but they said you'd understand." Lily left the pharmacy completely confused. First, Mrs. Johnson shows up at her house with money. Then someone pays her debts at the pharmacy. All on the same day, she met Benjamin Thompson. Was he responsible for all this? She decided she needed answers. She went back home, packed a small bag with some clothes, and left a note for her mother, explaining she was going to visit the farm. "Mom," she said, kissing Mrs. Martha's forehead, "I'm going to see what this job is like. If it doesn't work out, I'll come back today. Go with God, my child. And remember, you're special just the way you are. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise." Lily took a bus to the main road and then walked for nearly an hour until she reached the entrance to Thompson Valley Farm. The gate was simple, made of iron, but the land stretched as far as the eye could see. Green fields, neat crops, and in the distance, a large brick house. She walked down the dirt road until she reached the main house. Before she could even knock, she heard a familiar voice. "Lily, what a joy to see you here." It was Mrs. Johnson, a grey-haired woman with a warm smile coming out of the kitchen. "Benjamin said you might show up. Come, I'll show you where you'll be staying." "Mrs. Johnson, I need to ask a few questions first." "Of course, dear, but first come have some coffee and see the place." Mrs. Johnson led her to a small wooden house, just a few yards from the main house. It was simple but cozy, with a living room, a bedroom, a small kitchen, and a bathroom. "This was the old caretaker's house," Mrs. Johnson explained. "Benjamin had it all renovated for you. Look, even the kitchen sink was lowered to your height." Lily looked around and noticed everything was indeed at the perfect height for her. She wouldn't have to stretch to reach anything. He did this for me?" "That's just how Benjamin is, dear. Always thinking of others. Now come, he should be back from the field soon." They walked to the main house where Mrs. Johnson brewed strong coffee and served it with warm cornbread. "Mrs. Johnson," Lily began, gathering her courage, "was it Benjamin who paid my bill at the pharmacy?" The woman sighed and sat across from Lily. "Yes, dear, he heard about your mother's situation and wanted to help, but he made me promise not to tell." Why? Why would he do that for a stranger? Lily, you're no stranger. Benjamin has known about your work through your tomatoes for months, and yesterday when he came back from town, he was very upset about how those people treated you. Lily felt her chest tighten. No one had ever cared so much about her before. But I can't accept charity, she said. It's not right. It's not charity, dear. It's recognition for your work. Benjamin really needs someone to tend the garden. The old worker retired last month, and the vegetables have been neglected. Just then, they heard the sound of a truck pulling up. Lily's heart raced. That must be him, Mrs. Johnson said. Go talk to him. Sort everything out with the boss directly. Lily left the kitchen and saw Benjamin stepping out of the truck. He wore the same clothes as the day before, but now they were covered in dirt and his hat was crooked. When he saw her, his face lit up. Miss Lily, you came to see the property. Mr. Benjamin, she said, trying to stay formal. I need to talk to you. Of course. Want to see the garden first? Lily nodded. They walked in silence to a field about 200 yards from the house. It was a large area with neat rows but clearly neglected. The plants were overgrown, some infested with pests, others dried out from lack of water. As you can see, it needs a skilled hand, Benjamin said. Old Frank was good, but his eyes were tired. He couldn't see the details anymore. Lily walked between the rows examining the plants. There were tomatoes, lettuces, carrots, onions, but everything was disorganized. It'll take a lot of work to fix this up, she said, more to herself than to him. Do you think you can manage it? Lily looked at him. Benjamin was genuinely interested in her opinion. I can, but it'll take at least 3 months to get everything the way it should be. 3 months is perfect. And as for payment... Mr. Benjamin, Lily interrupted him. Why did you pay my bill at the pharmacy? Benjamin took off his hat and ran a hand through his brown hair. Because it was the right thing to do. But you didn't even know me. Lily, he said, using her name without formality for the first time. Can I tell you something? She nodded. Since I was a kid, I've heard jokes about my height. People call me a giant, a tower, a pole. They think just because I'm big, I don't have feelings. Lily was surprised. She'd never thought tall people could face prejudice too. When I saw you yesterday in the square, Benjamin continued, I saw how you endured the humiliation with dignity. I saw that your strength is inside, not outside, and it reminded me that size doesn't define character. So it was pity you felt for me. No, he said firmly. It was admiration. Lily felt her cheeks grow warm. Mr. Benjamin, Benjamin, he corrected her. Just Benjamin. Here at the farm, we're all family. Benjamin, she repeated, liking how the name sounded. I'll take the job, but I'll pay back the money for the pharmacy. You don't have to. I do. I'll deduct it from my salary until it's all paid off. Benjamin smiled. All right, if that'll make you more comfortable. They spent the rest of the afternoon planning the work routine. Lily would stay at the farm Monday through Friday and return home on weekends to care for her mother. As the sun began to set, Benjamin offered to drive her back to town. I need to grab a few things at home and talk properly with my mother, she explained. On the way, they talked about plants, the farm, and the area. Lily learned Benjamin had inherited the property from his grandfather and had lived alone for 5 years, since his parents moved to the city. Do you ever feel lonely? She asked. Sometimes, he admitted, but Mrs. Johnson and the other workers keep me company, and now you'll be around too. When they reached Lily's house, Benjamin got out of the truck to say goodbye. Lily, he said, thank you for accepting the offer. I'm the one who should thank you for the opportunity. They looked at each other in silence for a moment. Lily felt something different in the air, a good tension, as if she were at the start of something important. See you Monday then, said Benjamin, putting his hat back on. See you Monday. Lily walked into the house feeling different. For the first time in years, she had hope that things could get better. Mrs. Martha was in the living room, waiting anxiously. Well, dear, how did it go? Lily sat beside her mother and told her everything, from the renovated house to their conversation about prejudice. This Benjamin seems like a good man, said Mrs. Martha. He is, Mom, and the job will be good for both of us. Lily, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you like him? Lily felt her face grow warm. Mom, it's just work. All right, Mrs. Martha smiled, but the eyes don't lie, dear. On Sunday, Lily packed her things and prepared for a new chapter in her life. She was nervous, but excited. Monday arrived sunny and bright. Benjamin came to pick her up early, bringing Mrs. Johnson along. I came to give you moral support on your first day, the older woman said with a smile. The first week flew by. Lily threw herself into the garden work with energy she didn't know she had. It felt good to work the land again, to feel the sun on her face and see the plants responding to her care. Benjamin always showed up in the late afternoon to check on things. He'd always ask if she needed anything and how she was feeling. How are the tomatoes doing? He asked on Thursday. Getting better every day, she replied proudly. Next week, I'll be able to make the first harvest. That's great. Mrs. Johnson was complaining she needed fresh tomatoes for her sauce. Lily smiled. She was starting to feel like part of the farm. On Friday, when Benjamin drove her home, they stopped downtown so Lily could pick up a few things for her mother. Want me to come with you? He offered. No need. It's just the pharmacy and the grocery store. Lily got out of the truck and walked to the pharmacy. As she entered, she heard whispers behind her. Well, look who's here, said a familiar voice. It was Debbie, the butcher's wife, with two other women. Lily, I heard you're working for that rich farmer, Debbie said with a sly tone. Yes, I am, Lily replied, keeping her head high. And what could he possibly want with you, huh? One of the other women remarked. A man that size, single, rich. He hired me to tend the garden, Lily said firmly. Oh, really? Debbie laughed. And you believe that? Lily felt anger rising in her chest, but she took a deep breath. She wouldn't give those women the satisfaction of seeing her lose her composure. Yes, I do, because it's true. Poor thing, said the third woman. Can't you see you're being used? A man like that would never look at you any other way. Lily paid for the medicine and left the pharmacy without responding. But the women's words echoed in her head. Did Benjamin really only see her as an employee? Was she being foolish, hoping for more? When she got back to the truck, Benjamin noticed something was off. Did something happen? He asked. Nothing serious, she lied. Lily, I can tell when you're upset. What's wrong? She sighed. Just some people talking nonsense. About what? About you hiring me. They think it's strange. Benjamin was silent for a moment. Lily, do you care what those people think? I try not to, but sometimes it's hard. You know what I've learned over the years, he said, looking at her. People will always talk. If you're too tall, they'll talk. If you're too short, they'll talk. If you're rich, they'll talk. If you're poor, they'll talk. The only thing that matters is what you know about yourself. Lily looked at him and felt her heart tighten. How did he always know the right thing to say? Benjamin? Yes? Thank you for everything. He smiled. No need to thank me. You're doing an excellent job on the farm. I should be thanking you. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. The following weeks passed in a pleasant routine. Lily devoted herself entirely to the garden, which began showing impressive improvement. The tomatoes grew bigger and redder, the lettuce crisper and the carrots sweeter. Benjamin still visited the garden every afternoon, but now he stayed longer, chatting with Lily. They talked about plants, the town, dreams, and plans for the future. Lily started noticing little thoughtful gestures from Benjamin. He always brought ice-cold water on hot days. When it rained, he showed up with a raincoat for her. The day she mentioned liking flowers, he planted sunflowers around the garden. They're to brighten the place up, he explained, but Lily noticed he turned red as he said it. One day, as she knelt working between the rows, she heard voices approaching. She lifted her head and saw Benjamin walking with a tall, elegant woman she had never seen before. The woman wore a navy blue dress, high heels, and had her blonde hair pulled back into a perfect bun. She was beautiful, tall, and carried herself like someone accustomed to being admired. Lily, Benjamin called, come here, I want to introduce you to someone. Lily wiped her hands on her apron and approached. When she got closer, the height difference between her and the woman became even more obvious. "This is Lily, our new garden manager," Benjamin said. "Lily, this is Victoria Bennett." "Nice to meet you." Lily extended her hand, which Victoria shook quickly, as if eager to break the contact. "So you're the famous Lily," Victoria said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Benjamin talks about you a lot." "Does he?" Lily glanced at Benjamin, surprised. "Victoria and I have known each other for many years," Benjamin explained, avoiding a direct answer. "Actually," Victoria stepped closer to Benjamin and took his arm, "we were engaged 5 years ago." Lily felt as if she'd been punched in the gut. Benjamin had an ex-fiancée? And a beautiful, tall, elegant one at that? "Victoria came to visit the area and wanted to see the improvements we've made on the farm," Benjamin said, looking uncomfortable. "The improvements really are impressive," Victoria remarked, glancing around the garden. "You've done good work," she told Lily, but her tone was condescending, as if speaking to a child. "Thank you," Lily murmured. "Well," Victoria turned to Benjamin, "how about showing me the rest of the property? We can talk about that matter we discussed yesterday." "Matter?" Lily blurted out before she could stop herself. "Nothing important," Victoria said quickly. "Just business." Benjamin looked at Lily as if he wanted to explain something, but Victoria was already tugging his arm. "Lily, you can get back to work," he said. "We'll talk later." Lily stood frozen in the middle of the garden, watching the two walk away. Victoria laughed loudly and gestured animatedly, clearly trying to keep Benjamin's attention. The rest of the day passed in a haze. Lily tried to focus on her tasks, but couldn't stop thinking about how Victoria had behaved. So possessive, so at ease around Benjamin. By evening, when Benjamin usually stopped by to chat, he didn't come. Lily packed up her tools and headed to the small house, feeling strangely empty. She was preparing dinner when there was a knock at the door. It was Mrs. Johnson, her expression troubled. "Lily, may I come in?" "Of course, Mrs. Johnson. Would you like some coffee?" "I would, dear." They sat at the small kitchen table. Mrs. Johnson stirred her coffee silently for a few moments before speaking. "Lily, I saw you talking to Victoria today." "I did. She's beautiful." "She is. And troublesome too." Lily looked up, intrigued. "Troublesome how?" "Victoria left Benjamin at the altar 5 years ago." "At the altar?" Lily's eyes widened. "Literally. On the wedding day, an hour before the ceremony, she said she couldn't marry him because she was afraid of what people would say about their height difference." Lily was stunned. She thought he was too tall. "That's right. She said she felt like a child next to him and didn't want to spend the rest of her life being seen as the giant's wife." Good heavens. Benjamin was devastated. He'd sold cattle to pay for the wedding, renovated the main house thinking of her. It was a terrible public humiliation. Lily's chest tightened with sympathy for Benjamin. "And why did she come back now?" "From what I overheard in their conversation this morning," Mrs. Johnson lowered her voice, "she recently divorced her husband. A businessman from New York who left her for a younger woman. And she wants to get back with Benjamin?" "Apparently, yes. She said she's matured, that she realized the mistake she made, told him she's now ready to be the wife he deserves." Lily felt a mix of anger and sadness. Anger at Victoria for hurting Benjamin. Sadness at realizing she might never have a chance with him. "Mrs. Johnson, can I ask you something?" "Of course, dear." "What did Benjamin say about it?" "He said he'd think about it. But I've known that boy since he was little. I can tell when he's confused." Lily nodded, her heart heavy. "Mrs. Johnson, thank you for telling me. I needed to know." "Lily," the older woman held her hand, "don't give up so easily." "Give up on what? He's never shown any romantic interest in me. We're just boss and employee." "Nonsense. Anyone with eyes can see you two care for each other. But I can't compete with Victoria. Look at her, then look at me." "Lily Peterson," Mrs. Johnson said firmly, "you're worth 100 Victorias. And deep down, Benjamin knows it." That night, Lily barely slept. She kept thinking about everything Mrs. Johnson had told her. Benjamin had been publicly humiliated because of his height, just like she always had been. Maybe they really had more in common than she'd imagined. The next morning, Lily woke up determined to act normal. She wouldn't let Victoria's presence affect her work or her composure. She was watering the tomatoes when she saw Benjamin approaching. He looked tired, as if he hadn't slept well. "Good morning, Lily." "Good morning, Benjamin." They stood in silence for a few minutes. Lily kept watering the plants, trying to seem carefree. "Lily," he finally said, "about yesterday." "You don't owe me an explanation," she interrupted. "Your personal life isn't my business." "But I want to explain." Lily stopped watering and looked at him. "Victoria and I have a complicated history," he began. "She hurt me badly years ago. Mrs. Johnson told me." Benjamin seemed surprised. "She did? About the marriage. I'm sorry for what you went through." Benjamin sighed. "It was a hard time. I thought I'd moved on, but seeing her again stirred things up." Lily's heart clenched. So he still had feelings for Victoria. "That's understandable," she said, keeping her voice steady. "First love is always hard to forget." "Lily," Benjamin stepped closer, "can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Have you ever been hurt by someone who said they loved you?" Lily thought for a moment. "Actually, no. I've never had the chance to be hurt like that. No one's ever said they loved me." The honesty of her answer seemed to hit Benjamin hard. "What do you mean, no one?" "Benjamin, look at me," she said, gesturing to herself. "What man in this town would ever see me as a romantic possibility? I've always been the friend, the poor little thing, the one who needed protection, never the one who sparked passion. Lily." "No, it's fine," she said quickly. "I've gotten used to it, focused on other things. Work, taking care of my mother." Benjamin stayed quiet, looking at her with an expression she couldn't decipher. "What do you think of me?" he asked suddenly. The question caught Lily off guard. "What do you mean? How do you see me? As a boss? A friend?" Lily felt her face grow warm. How could she answer that honestly? I see you as a good person. Generous. Someone who treats me with respect." "That's all?" Lily met his eyes and sensed he wanted a different answer, but she didn't have the courage to be vulnerable. "Benjamin, why are you asking me this?" "Because I need to know." "Know what?" "If there's any chance you feel for me what I feel for you." Lily felt her legs go weak. What had he just said? "Benjamin?" "Lily, from the first day I saw you in the square, you haven't left my mind. The way you endured humiliation with dignity, how you work with such dedication, how you care for your mother, everything about you amazes me. But what about Victoria?" "Victoria was part of my past, but you could be my future." Lily felt her eyes fill with tears. "Benjamin, don't play with me, please." "I would never joke about something like this," he said, stepping closer. "Lily, I'm in love with you." "But we're so different." "On the outside, yes, but inside, we're the same. We know what it's like to face prejudice. We know what it's like to be judged by appearances, and we know what it's like to have a big heart in a small world." Lily was trembling. She had never imagined hearing such words directed at her. "Lily," Benjamin took her hands, "will you give us a chance?" Before she could answer, they heard a voice behind them. How touching. It was Victoria, elegant as always, but with a look of disdain on her face. "Victoria," Benjamin let go of Lily's hands. "What are you doing here?" "I came for my answer," she said, stepping forward. "You said you'd think about my proposal, and I did. The answer is no." Victoria seemed genuinely shocked. "No? Why?" "Because I don't love you anymore," Benjamin said simply. "And you love her?" Victoria pointed at Lily with contempt. "Yes, I do." Lily felt her heart burst with joy, but at the same time she tensed at Victoria's presence. "Benjamin!" Victoria laughed, but it was a bitter laugh. "You can't be serious. Look at her. Look at me. Which of us makes more sense by your side?" "Victoria, that's not—" "No, let her speak," Lily interrupted, finding courage she didn't know she had. Let her say what she thinks. Victoria looked at Lily in surprise, as if she hadn't expected her to speak. Fine then, Victoria said. You want the truth? You're too small for him, physically, socially, in every way. People will laugh at you in the street. They'll say you look like father and daughter. They'll make cruel jokes. So what? Lily replied, surprising herself with the steadiness of her voice. So what? So what if people make jokes? Do you think I'm not used to it? Do you think he isn't? The difference is, now we'll face it together. Lily, Benjamin whispered, amazed. No, Benjamin, let me finish. Lily turned to Victoria. Do you know the difference between you and me? I'd never abandon Benjamin because of what others think. I'd never humiliate him in public. And I'd never come back years later trying to reclaim what I threw away. Victoria flushed with anger. You know nothing about our history. I know you left him at the altar. I know you hurt him deeply. And I know you're only back now because you need him, not because you love him. And you love him? Victoria asked maliciously. Lily looked at Benjamin, then back at Victoria. Yes, I do. I love everything about him. His kindness, his generosity, the way he treats me like a whole person. And yes, I even love the height difference between us because it reminds me every day that true love has no measure. Benjamin stepped closer to Lily and took her hand. Victoria, he said, looking straight at his ex-fiancée. I loved you once. But you destroyed that love when you chose others' opinions over your own feelings. Lily would never do that. You'll regret this, Victoria said venomously. When the jokes start, when people laugh in your faces, when you realize how ridiculous you look. Victoria, Lily cut her off. You can leave now, there's nothing left for you here. Victoria looked at the two holding hands and stomped away, muttering angry words under her breath. When she was out of sight, Benjamin turned to Lily. You were amazing, he said. I was terrified, she admitted, but I couldn't let her talk to you like that. Lily, Benjamin knelt on the ground, meeting her eye level. Will you be my girlfriend? Lily laughed and cried at the same time. Yes, I will. He kissed her right there in the middle of the garden with the sun setting behind them and the scent of earth and ripe tomatoes in the air. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now back to the story. The following months were the happiest of Lily's life. Her relationship with Benjamin grew stronger every day. They discovered they had far more in common than they'd imagined. On weekends, when Lily went home to care for her mother, Benjamin always went with her. Mrs. Martha adored him from their very first meeting. Lily, she said to her daughter privately, that man truly loves you. I can see it in his eyes. I love him too, Mom. And what about the people in town? Are they saying anything? Lily sighed. People were talking. In the beginning, whenever they appeared together in Riverdale, whispers and stares followed them. But little by little, folks got used to it. Let them talk, Mum. What matters is that we're happy. And they were happy. Benjamin was the most thoughtful boyfriend Lily could have dreamed of. He always made sure she felt comfortable. At the movies, he chose seats where she could see well. When they walked hand in hand, he slowed his pace to match hers. The garden thrived under Lily's care. The vegetables were better than ever, and Mrs. Johnson never tired of praising the produce. Lily, your tomatoes are so good. Even Benjamin's neighbor wants to buy them, she remarked one day. Which neighbor? Old Frank, from the farm next door. He said he wants to place a big order for the fall fair. Lily was thrilled. This meant extra income, which she could use to improve her mother's treatment. But not everything was perfect. Some townsfolk still made cruel remarks when they passed by. One day, Lily and Benjamin were leaving the pharmacy when they overheard Debbie loudly gossiping with other women in front of the butcher shop. Look at the mismatched couple, she said, loud enough for them to hear. How embarrassing. Lily felt her blood boil, but it was Benjamin who reacted. He approached the group of women. Excuse me, he said politely. Were you talking about us? Debbie turned red. No. Because if you were, I'd like to clarify something, Benjamin continued. Lily and I are adults in a happy, consensual relationship. If that bothers anyone, the problem isn't ours. No one said anything, one of the other women mumbled. Great. Then we'll continue our lives without interference. Benjamin returned to Lily's side and they walked on. You didn't have to do that, Lily said. Yes, I did. I won't let anyone disrespect you. But it'll just make them talk more. Lily, Benjamin stopped walking and took her hands. Do you want me to hide? Do you want us to hide? No. But then let's live our lives. If people want to talk, let them. Love doesn't ask for permission. Lily smiled. He was right. Why should they hide? At the end of the year came the town's traditional harvest festival. Benjamin invited Lily to go with him, but she hesitated. Benjamin, the whole town will be there. There'll be so many people staring, whispering. So what? I want to dance the square dance with my girlfriend. Square dance? Lily laughed. Can you imagine how we'll look in the square dance line? We'll look great. Different but great. The party was lively when they arrived. Lily wore a yellow harvest festival dress that Mrs. Johnson had sewn especially for her. Benjamin wore a plaid shirt and a straw hat. When it was time for the square dance, they joined the other couples. Lily was nervous, but Benjamin reassured her. Just look at me, he whispered. Forget the rest. The music started, and they danced. It was funny to see the height difference between them as they followed the square dance steps, but it was also beautiful. There was so much love between them that the people around gradually stopped laughing and began to smile. When the music ended, someone started clapping. Soon the whole party was applauding the couple. You two are beautiful together, shouted a woman from the crowd. Lily felt her eyes fill with tears of joy. For the first time, she felt completely accepted. After the party, they walked to the square where they had met. Remember that morning at the market? Benjamin asked. How could I forget? The worst day of my life turned into the best. Lily? Benjamin stopped walking. Can I ask you something? Of course. Would you be happy if you married me? Lily felt the world stop around her. What? I'm asking you to marry me, he said, pulling a small box from his pocket. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Lily looked at the simple but pretty ring and then into Benjamin's eyes. Are you sure, even knowing all the challenges we'll face? I'm absolutely sure. You're the love of my life, Lily Peterson. Will you marry me? Yes, she shouted, jumping into his arms. He spun her in the air and kissed her, right there in the same square where it had all begun. The news of the engagement spread quickly through town. Reactions were mixed. Some people were genuinely happy for the couple. Others kept making spiteful comments. But the happiest of all was Mrs. Martha. My dear, she said, holding Lily's hands, you've found your prince charming. I have, Mom, and he found me too. When's the wedding? We haven't decided yet. We want something simple, just for family and close friends. Lily, can I give you some advice? Of course. Get married soon. Life's too short to wait for the perfect moment. Lily smiled. Her mother was right. Why wait? That night, she talked to Benjamin about the wedding date. How about next month? He suggested. Right at the farm. We can have a simple ceremony in the garden. You don't want a big celebration? I want a happy one. Size doesn't matter. Lily laughed. Without even realizing it, Benjamin always said things that perfectly applied to their relationship. The wedding preparations were rushed but joyful. Mrs. Johnson took charge of the food. Old Frank, their neighbor, offered his flowers for decoration. The whole town was curious to see what the wedding would be like. A week before the ceremony, Lily was at the farm when she got an unexpected visit. It was her cousin Ashley, the daughter of a wealthy aunt who lived in the city. Lily! Ashley stepped out of a luxury car. I can't believe you're getting married. Ashley, Lily greeted her, surprised. It's so good to see you. I came to meet this famous fiancé of yours. Mom told me about your height difference. I thought she was exaggerating. Lily felt a chill in her stomach. Ashley had always been one of those people who said things in an innocent tone, but with malice underneath. "Benjamin is wonderful," Lily said simply. "I'm sure he is." "Where is he?" "In the fields. He should be back soon." They sat on the porch of the main house to wait. Ashley looked around, clearly impressed by the property. "Wow, Lily. This farm is enormous. Benjamin must be very rich." "I didn't marry him for money, Ashley." "Of course not," Ashley laughed. "But let's be honest, it doesn't hurt, right?" Lily sighed. It was always like this with Ashley. She could never just be happy for people. Benjamin arrived a few minutes later, covered in dirt and sweat but smiling when he saw Lily. "Hi, sweetheart," he said, kissing her forehead. "Who's our guest?" "This is my cousin Ashley. Ashley, this is Benjamin." "Wow." Ashley's eyes widened as she took in Benjamin's size. "You really are a giant." Lily wished she could disappear. Benjamin just smiled politely. "Nice to meet you, Ashley." "The pleasure's mine," she said, still looking him up and down. "Lily told me you're getting married next week." "That's right, we're very happy." "I bet." Ashley glanced from Benjamin to Lily. "You two are really unique together." Lily knew Ashley well enough to recognize that wasn't a compliment. "Benjamin," Lily stood up, "weren't you going to take a shower?" "Yes, I was. Excuse me, Ashley. It was nice meeting you." When Benjamin went inside, Ashley turned to Lily with a serious expression. "Lily, can I be honest with you?" "Go ahead." "Are you sure about what you're doing?" "What do you mean?" "That man is so different from you, so big. Don't you think you'll look odd together?" Lily felt anger rising in her chest. "Ashley, we're happy. That's what matters." "But Lily, think about the children you'll have. How will they feel having parents so mismatched?" "Our children will grow up knowing love is more important than appearances." "Oh, Lily," Ashley sighed. "You've always been such a dreamer, but the real world isn't that pretty. My world is." All right, Ashley raised her hands. "I don't want to fight. I just hope you'll be very happy." But Lily knew Ashley wasn't being sincere, and when her cousin left, she was left with a bitter taste in her mouth. That night, she told Benjamin about the conversation. "Lily," he said, holding her hands, "are you worried about what your cousin said?" "Shouldn't I be? I think everyone's entitled to their opinion, but the only one that matters to me is yours. Benjamin, sometimes I wonder, what if people are right? What if we're too different?" "Lily," Benjamin knelt in front of her, meeting her eye level, "do you want to know the only difference that matters between us?" "What?" "You complete me and I complete you. Everything else is just details." Lily smiled and kissed his face. "I love you, Benjamin Thompson." "I love you too, Lily Peterson. And in a week, you'll be Lily Thompson." The wedding day dawned sunny and beautiful. Lily woke up at her mother's house, nervous but happy. Mrs. Martha, who had improved greatly with her new treatments, was as excited as if she were the one getting married. "My daughter," she said, helping Lily into the simple but lovely dress they'd picked together. "You look radiant." "I'm nervous, Mum." "That's normal, but look at me." Mrs. Martha held her daughter's face. "You're doing the right thing. Benjamin truly loves you." "I know, it's just so many people will be watching." "So what? Let them watch. Let them see how beautiful it is when two people truly love each other." The ceremony was set for 4 in the afternoon in the farm's garden. Benjamin had built a small altar with wildflowers, and Mrs. Johnson had prepared a simple but delicious feast. When Lily arrived at the farm, she was stunned by how many people had come. It seemed like the whole town was there. "Lily!" Mrs. Johnson greeted her with a tight hug. "You look gorgeous, dear." "Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. Where's Benjamin?" "Getting ready, and just as nervous as you." Lily laughed. It was comforting to know she wasn't the only one nervous. Her godmother was Mrs. Martha, who was moved and proud. Benjamin's best man was old Frank, the neighbor who had become a close friend. When the time came for the ceremony, Lily walked through the garden to the makeshift altar. Benjamin waited for her in a simple yet elegant suit, and when he saw her, his face lit up. The town's priest, Father Michael, had agreed to officiate. He was a kind and humble man who had known them both since childhood. "Dear friends," he began, "we are gathered here today to celebrate the love between Lily and Benjamin, a love that teaches us differences don't divide but complete us." During the vows, Lily and Benjamin spoke from the heart about what they meant to each other. "Lily," Benjamin said, "you taught me that a person's worth is measured by the size of their heart, and yours is enormous." "Benjamin," Lily replied, tears in her eyes, "you showed me I can be loved exactly as I am, without changing a thing, without hiding. With you, I feel whole." When the priest declared them husband and wife, the entire gathering applauded with emotion. Tears of joy filled many eyes. During the celebration, Lily noticed even those who used to make unkind remarks were now smiling and congratulating the couple. "You two are proof that true love exists," said Mrs. Wilson, the seamstress who once joked Lily would never find a husband. The most touching moment came when Benjamin invited Lily to dance. He had a small platform built so she could stand a few inches taller during their dance. "Now we can dance eye to eye," he explained, helping her step up. They chose "Evidence of Love" as their song, and as they danced, Lily felt every gaze upon them was filled with admiration, not judgment. "Mrs. Thompson," Benjamin whispered in her ear, "how does it feel to be my wife?" "Like the luckiest woman in the world," she replied. "I'm the lucky one. I found the perfect woman for me." "I'm not perfect, Benjamin. To me you are. Perfectly imperfect, perfectly mine." The celebration lasted well into the night. When the last guests left, Lily and Benjamin stayed alone in the garden, sitting on the wooden bench he had built just for her. "Lily," he said, "are you happy?" "Completely happy," she answered, nestling into his arms. "And you?" "I never thought I could be this happy," he admitted. "For so long I believed I'd be alone forever. Because of Victoria. Not just her. Because of everything. The jokes, the stares, the feeling of never fitting in anywhere. And now? Now I know where I belong, right beside you." Lily smiled and kissed his neck. "Benjamin?" "Yes?" "Thank you." "For what?" "For loving me, for accepting me, for making me feel special." "Lily Thompson," he said, emphasizing her new last name. "You are special. You always were. I was just lucky enough to see it." 2 years after their wedding, Lily and Benjamin received the news they'd longed for. She was pregnant. "Benjamin," she shouted when he came in from the fields, "we need to talk." "What's wrong?" he asked, worried by her emotional expression. "We're having a baby." Benjamin fell silent for a moment, processing the news. Then he scooped Lily into his arms and spun her around. "We're going to be parents," he cheered. Lily's pregnancy was smooth. Benjamin, if possible, became even more protective and affectionate. He made sure to attend every doctor's appointment and learned everything he could about pregnancy. "Doctor," he asked the obstetrician during one visit, "is there any chance the baby could inherit growth problems because of our height difference?" "No, Benjamin," the doctor explained. "Lily's height isn't due to any medical condition. She's just naturally petite. The baby could be born at any normal height range." Lily was curious about how the baby would turn out. Would they inherit her height or their father's? Would it be a boy or a girl? "It doesn't matter," Benjamin said, stroking her belly. "They'll be perfect." The townspeople were just as curious. Bets ranged from a giant baby to a child as small as Lily. "Have you thought of names?" Mrs. Johnson asked. "If it's a girl, we want to name her Emma," Lily said. "And if it's a boy, Noah." "Lovely names," the older woman approved. "And the grandparents? How are they taking it?" Benjamin's parents, who lived in the city, had been surprised at first by their son's marriage. But over time, they'd grown to love Lily. When they heard about the pregnancy, they were overjoyed. "We're going to be grandparents," Mrs. Thompson, Benjamin's mother, exclaimed over the phone. "Lily, how are you feeling?" "Very well, Mrs. Thompson. Just eager to meet the baby." "We are, too. We'll come visit next weekend to be closer to you." Mrs. Martha, meanwhile, was radiant at the thought of becoming a grandmother. "Lily," she said, "this baby will be so loved. Maybe they'll be small, maybe they'll be tall, but they'll grow up knowing they're special." "Just like their mother," Benjamin added. Time passed quickly. Lily kept working in the garden until her 7th month, when Benjamin insisted she rest more. "Benjamin, I'm fine," she protested. "I know you are. But I want you and the baby to stay healthy. The garden can wait." Lily agreed, though she missed the work. To pass the time, she began preparing the nursery with Mrs. Johnson's help. "What color did you choose?" the older woman asked. "Light yellow," Lily said. "Works for a boy or a girl." "And the furniture?" "Benjamin is making the crib and dresser. Everything at the right height so I can care for the baby without trouble." Benjamin had truly dedicated himself to crafting special furniture. The crib had a side that could be lowered, so Lily could easily pick up the baby. The dresser had drawers at varying heights, some for Lily, others for Benjamin. "You've thought of everything," Lily said, admiring her husband's work. "I want our family to work perfectly," he replied, varnishing the crib. By the 8th month, Lily grew anxious. What if people made jokes about the baby? What if their child faced prejudice because of them? "Benjamin," she said one night, "I'm worried." "About what?" "About our child's future. What if they get bullied at school because of us?" "Lily," Benjamin sat beside her on the bed, "our child will grow up strong because they'll know they're loved. And if anyone tries to hurt them, we'll be there to protect them and teach them how to stand up for themselves." "But what if—" "Lily, stop. We can't live in fear of what-ifs. Our child will have a good life because we'll give them all the love in the world." Lily nodded. Benjamin was right. There was no use worrying over problems that didn't even exist yet. Labor began on a Thursday morning. Lily was in the garden when she felt the first contraction. "Benjamin," she called. He came running from the house. "Is it time?" "I think so." Benjamin was more nervous than Lily on the way to the hospital. He drove too slowly, stopped at every green light and asked every minute if she was okay. "Benjamin, you need to calm down," Lily said, laughing through the pain. "How can I calm down? My wife is having a baby." At the hospital, Lily was quickly admitted. Labor lasted 8 hours, with Benjamin by her side the whole time, holding her hand and whispering encouragement. "You can do this, love," he kept saying. "Almost there." When the baby was finally born, the first sound that filled the room was a strong, healthy cry. "It's a boy," announced the doctor. "Noah," Lily whispered, exhausted but happy. When they placed the baby in Lily's arms, she and Benjamin were overcome with emotion. Noah was perfect. He had his father's light eyes and his mother's small nose. "Benjamin," Lily said, "look at our son." "He's beautiful," Benjamin replied, tears in his eyes, "just like his mother." "He has your eyes," she answered. The doctor examined the baby and declared everything was perfect. "Congratulations," he told the couple. "You have a healthy, beautiful boy." "Doctor," Benjamin asked, "will he be tall or short?" "It's too early to tell, but based on the tests, it seems he'll be of average height, somewhere between the two of you." Lily smiled. Average height. Perfect. When they left the hospital 3 days later, a small crowd was waiting for them. Mrs. Martha, Mrs. Johnson, Benjamin's parents, old Frank, and even some townsfolk who wanted to meet the baby. "May I see?" asked Mrs. Wilson, the seamstress. Proudly, Lily showed Noah to everyone. "What a beautiful baby," one woman said. "He has the best of both parents." In the months that followed, Noah proved to be a calm and cheerful baby. He seemed to like everyone, but had a special bond with his parents. "Look at that," Mrs. Johnson said when Noah turned 6 months old. "He's already trying to stand." Noah was indeed developing quickly. By 1 year old, he was walking and saying a few words. "Daddy" was one of his first words, and "Mummy." Lily pretended to be jealous. "When will you say Mommy?" As if understanding, Noah looked at her and said, "Mommy." The family was complete and happy. Noah grew up healthy and bright, surrounded by love and affection. When he turned 2, Lily discovered she was pregnant again. "Benjamin," she said, "we have news." Again? He asked excitedly. Again, she confirmed. The second pregnancy was even smoother than the first. Noah was thrilled at the idea of having a little brother or sister. Baby, he'd say, pointing at his mother's belly. That's right, sweetheart, Lily replied. Soon you'll have a baby to play with. This time they found out it would be a girl. Emma, Benjamin said, stroking Lily's belly. Our little princess. Emma was born on a spring morning, arriving even faster than Noah. She was delicate and beautiful, with dark hair like her mother and the same light eyes as her father and brother. Our family is complete, Lily said, holding Emma while Noah slept beside her in the hospital bed. For now, Benjamin teased. For now? Lily widened her eyes. I'm joking, he laughed. 2 is perfect. The years flew by. Noah and Emma grew up in an environment full of love and acceptance. They learned early on that differences between people were normal, and that character was what mattered. Noah ended up being of average height, neither as tall as his father, nor as short as his mother. Emma, on the other hand, seemed destined to be petite like Lily. Mommy, Emma asked one day when she was 5, why are you smaller than Daddy? Because that's how we were born, sweetheart, Lily explained. Everyone is a different size. And that's okay. It's perfect. Daddy loves me just the way I am, and I love him just the way he is. And you love us just the way we are. More than anything in the world. Noah, at 7 years old, already showed signs of inheriting his father's gentle nature and his mother's determination. Mommy, he said one day, a boy at school said you and Daddy are weird together. Lily's heart tightened. She'd always known this day would come. What did you say? I told him you're the happiest parents I know, and that he must be jealous. Lily hugged her son, beaming with pride. You did the right thing, my love. Always respond politely, but never let anyone speak ill of our family. The farm was thriving more than ever. Lily's vegetable garden had become famous in the region, and they sold produce to several neighboring towns. Benjamin expanded operations and hired more workers. Lily, he said one day, would you mind if we turned part of the farm into a shelter for people who face prejudice? What do you mean? Work for people with disabilities, those of short stature, people who struggle to find jobs because of their appearance. We could give them opportunities. Lily was moved by the idea. Benjamin, that would be wonderful. And so they did. Thompson Valley Farm became known not only for its quality products, but also for its inclusive policies. People from all over the region came to work there, knowing they'd be treated with dignity and respect. You're changing lives, the town's mayor said during a visit to the farm. We're just giving opportunities, Lily replied. The rest is up to each person. One day, when Lily was 40 and Benjamin 45, they received an unexpected visitor. It was Victoria. She had aged and looked weary, no longer carrying the arrogance of before. Lily, she said when Lily greeted her at the door, can I talk to you? Of course. Would you like to come in? They sat in the main house's living room. Victoria glanced around, noticing the family photos scattered throughout. You all seem very happy, she said. We are, Lily answered simply. Lily, I came here to apologize. Apologize. For how I treated you when I came back years ago. I was bitter, angry at myself and took it out on you. Lily was surprised. She never expected an apology from Victoria. I understand, Lily said. You were hurt. That's no excuse. I was wrong. You and Benjamin are proof that true love exists. And I threw it away out of pride and prejudice. Victoria, no, let me finish. I could never be happy after leaving Benjamin. I married for convenience, got divorced, tried several relationships, but I never found what you two have. Lily pitied the woman before her. There's still time to find happiness, she said. Maybe. But I mainly came here to thank you. Thank me. For taking good care of him. For giving him the family he always wanted. For proving me wrong about everything. Just then, Benjamin walked into the room with Noah and Emma. Victoria, he said, startled. I didn't know you were here. I came to say goodbye, she said, standing up. and to apologize to both of you. You don't have to. Yes, I do. You deserve to be happy, and I hope you always will be. Victoria said her goodbyes and left. It was the last time they saw her. Are you okay? Benjamin asked Lily. I am. In fact, I feel relieved. It's good to know she found peace. Mom, Emma tugged at Lily's skirt. Who was that lady? Someone from your father's past, sweetheart. But now it's just the four of us that matter. The years kept passing. Noah graduated with a degree in agriculture and returned to work on the farm. Emma became a teacher and opened a school on the property for the workers' children. I'm proud of both of you, Benjamin said on Emma's graduation day. We learned from the best, Noah replied. At 60, Lily still tended to the main garden, though now with Noah's help. Benjamin, at 65, was less active in heavy labor, but still oversaw everything. Lily, he said one afternoon as they watched Noah and Emma playing with their own children in the yard, do you regret anything? You're welcome, she replied without hesitation. And you? Just one thing. What? Not asking you to marry me the first day I saw you. Lily laughed. If you had done that, I would have run away scared. True, he agreed. Everything happened at the right time. Benjamin. Yes? Thank you for teaching me that love has no measure. Thank you for showing me that a person's size is measured by the size of their heart. They kissed there in the garden, surrounded by their children and grandchildren, with the same intensity as when they first met at the market. Some love stories face external obstacles. Others, like Lily and Benjamin's, must first overcome the obstacles within. They learned that physical differences are insignificant compared to the affinities of the heart, and that true love happens when two people complete each other exactly as they are. Thompson Valley Farm became a symbol in the region, not just of economic success, but that it's possible to build a life based on respect, inclusion, and true love. Lily and Benjamin grew old together, happy and fulfilled. Their children grew up confident and free of prejudice. Their grandchildren learned early on that what matters in people is character, not appearance. And when folks in the area told the couple's story, they always ended it the same way. They proved that true love has no height, no measure, only depth. End of story. Now tell us what you thought of this touching story. Do you believe Lily made the right choice by facing prejudice for love? Share your honest thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartwarming stories.